wondering if a speeding ticket is going to affect your car insurance or just in general how long a speeding ticket will typically last, let's dive right in and explain just how that affects you, the costs that it can incur, and some of the situations where you may have more than one speeding ticket. So the first piece is how long does a speeding ticket last on your record? Each state's different, so the way that insurance companies look at a speeding ticket is not a point-based system. It may have been in the past, and a lot of people think that that point-based system is actually impactful, but it's not. We'll actually talk about it here near the end when we get into some of the different states and the rules that they have in place, because each state handles it differently. Commonly, if you have a speeding ticket, it's going to typically last between 3 and 5 years. Now, that can impact the price that you pay on your insurance. So what that's going to cost is anywhere from $350 to $400 plus depending on the time frame of the ticket. What I mean by time frame is how long has it been since you've had a ticket? If you've never had one, then you're going to see anywhere from a 15 to a 25% increase. According to Forbes Advisor, they actually say that it's about a 24% increase, but I've actually seen it a little bit less expensive depending on the age of the driver. They take into a lot of considerations. So there's really three main pieces that insurance companies are looking at when they're looking at speeding tickets. The first piece is the number of offenses. How many speeding tickets have you had in the past 5 years? Some states, like I said, only go 3 years. For example, Texas only goes back 3 years for occurrences. That means the year, 3 year, and 1 day, the ticket doesn't count. Now, the ticket will always stay on your record and just be kind of hidden underneath everything, but they won't necessarily rate that against you in your insurance. If you've had multiple speeding tickets within more than a year, then they're not going to hit you as heavy than if you have them back to back. I have honestly gone through this as well because I had 2 tickets in the same month, and that impact on my car insurance wasn't the best thing. Now, they were low. They were the mileage, which is the second piece that we're going to talk about, is the speed that you're going. There's 3 levels of speeding tickets. There's the 0 to 5 miles per hour over the limit, and those are the 2 that I got, which still kind of hurt me on my insurance. We'll say that in a nice, kind word versus the words I want to use sometimes. And it is what it is, right? I had to pull out, go left, and I had to speed up to get up with traffic, but I keep forgetting to slow down. I get an egg on my face, but still, I was caught in those traps. The second ticket is your standard ticket. The most common is anywhere from 5 miles to 15 miles over the limit. That's honestly 10 to 15. Some companies break them into, but anywhere between the 5 and 15 is going to fall in the standard speeding ticket. To give you an example, when I typically quote somebody's insurance, it doesn't ask what speed that the person has because 9 times out of 10, it's just your standard ticket. Now, I get some of the younger drivers, and I have a few of them that I'm quoting now, that have the 15 plus miles and over the speed limit. If you're going more than 15 or 16 and up, then that ticket is kind of right up there with the reckless driving. I get it. You're on the highway. Don't get me wrong. I've gotten that ticket. Back when I was younger, I was driving like that. I had 3 tickets on my license, and I had a not at fault accident. We're insurance people, but we understand where you're coming from. Having that ticket is a large impact to where you're automatically in that 20 to 30% increase. How often can your insurance increase based on the speeding tickets? Well, it doesn't go up right away, so there's no reason to hide it. You can flat out call them up and say, I got a ticket. It's not going to help, by the way, because there is a way that can hurt you. What they're going to do is the insurance's responsibility is to pull the motor vehicle reports. That motor vehicle report is where all of your tickets lie. It costs that insurance company money to pull those reports. So if you're in a good risk area and they're not having to pull what's called a CLUB report, a CLUB report is pulling accidents and claims. What most insurance companies take a look at is how many accidents and claims have we had in this area. They know that ticket and speeding tends to cause more incidences, not necessarily because the speeder's the bad person, which in most cases you can't respond quick enough, right? But also because people around them don't drive as good. So in this scenario, what will happen is if you're in a claim area that's more common than normal to have those, then they're going to pull that entire area's motor vehicle report. That's when they'll start counting the actual speeding ticket against you. In the meantime, they don't care. If it's not there and it doesn't show up, they're not going to pull those and rate those unless you make them aware of it. Even then, they still can't add it to your driving history or to your insurance until the renewal, because insurances are open-ended contracts. You can leave anytime, but they can't drop you or change the price until that renewal date. So look at your policy and see when that renewal date is, and it may or may not affect you depending on the time. Now, if you're looking for kind of the cheat way to get through it, and honestly, most of us talk about this, and it's fine. Like, I understand. Most people, when they get a ticket or get an accident, they quickly switch their insurance to a new year-long policy. And that's possible. That's your choice. But keep in mind that most insurance companies do run what's called an underwriting period. And there's a 60-day underwriting period when you purchase a policy. So if you don't make them aware of the ticket, there's a 50-50 shot where they won't pull it and they don't care. If it doesn't show up, that was what was there. Unless they actually ask you to disclose it and you lied, that's a different scenario. But if they don't ask and they're not looking for that type of risk, then you're in the clear. You may never get that ticket to affect your record. For the states that are 5 years, it's likely that you're going to have at some level or some point that ticket's going to affect what you're paying. The third piece is the actual driving record. So I just mentioned something called a CLUE report, and you're like, what the heck is that? Like we said, that's your claims and accidents. The claims and accidents also play a factor. However, they don't play a factor at the same exact event. If you have a speeding ticket and an accident in the same occurrence, the insurance company won't rate both of them against you. They're only going to rate the worst of the two and then leave the other one to the side. Now it shows up and it's there, but in almost every state that allows this, they don't allow the insurance company to rate both of them. They get that you're hit hard automatically because you are going to have an increase, but there's no reason you should have a double increase because of the same incident. The next question is, should you just switch your insurance? Like, why not? We just talked about if you get one quick, you can switch it out and maybe they won't catch it. That's possible, but if you're happy with the company and you take the price you're paying, let's just assume it's 20% or 24%, which is the average according to Forbes Advisor. And if you're okay with that price and just knowing, like, I got egg on my face, it was my fault. If they find it, it pulls up, I pay more, I'm okay. If you're happy with the company, you don't have to necessarily switch insurance. The other piece you got to be a little bit careful of is states like New Jersey, and I think New York does it, and I believe Florida does it. All of these states that have these ticket forgiveness programs that you can take. So the state will allow you to take a course to show that you're a good driver, yada, 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 all the things that you have to do, right? It's probably a 3 or 4 hour course. You watch it online and it's pretty simple. If you do it, it waives the points off of your ticket. Just be careful because it doesn't actually change the price you pay on your car insurance. Like we said in the beginning of the video, the actual ticket matters, not the points on the license. So yes, will the state fix the points on the license? Sure. So if you have 8, 9 points, you're about to lose your license, take that course. You need it. And you'll get a discount on your insurance for taking that course. The discount that you get for taking that course doesn't amount to a whole lot. Figure 2 to 3%. But it can help you in the next 3 to 5 years to not have to pay that extra cost because you've shown that you're responsible enough to care that you actually had the ticket. There are a few other ways that you can get the price down if you do have tickets. One, you can typically do a telematics if you don't already have one. That's where they watch your driving history for 90 days, and some states and some companies have longer, but essentially it gives you a discount if you can show that you're a good driver. 2, in the states that do allow you to do the safety driving course, that's what we just talked about, you can do that to get a little extra percentage off. And 3, you could just stop driving. That's an option. I'll actually link some extra discounts that you can get on your car insurance that you're probably missing in just a moment. The other question that a lot of people ask me is, what about parking tickets? Do those affect my insurance? And the quick answer is no. Parking tickets are not moving violations. Insurance only carries about moving violations. So in that case, stack them up as much as you want. You're going to lose your license if you don't pay them. But in that scenario, you don't have to have that affect your insurance unless you lose your license. As promised, if you're looking for other discounts that you likely are missing that you probably can qualify for, I'll put the video here that you can check that out. If you're kind of new to insurance and you're looking for more of the 101 and what coverages I should carry, I'll also put my Insurance 101 there for you to check out. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.